Welcome everybody to the yet to be named podcast. We actually talked about this on the way here. We haven't got a name, but we don't feel like we need a name at the time of recording. Brought to you by the Coaching Initiative, which is conveniently our company. And we say that so that the company pays for it and we don't have to.
Yeah, sponsored by.
Sponsored by. Maybe we get a little...
Yeah, you'll hear more from our sponsors later.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I'll work on my sponsorship voice. I'll practice that on the way
We'll get some
home.
product placement.
Yeah,
yeah.
TCI.
Yeah.
Just here. That would be perfect. But welcome along. This is episode 1. At the time of recording, it is yet to be Christmas and yet to be the new year, obviously. So, we're going to start with why we're here, why it's taken us so long to get here, and we want to welcome you. And if you're watching this, thank you. If you're just listening to this, also thank you. Probably just our mums and our partners listening to the first one.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Mum. That'll be our top 2 listeners. But yeah, let's start off. So, Mr. Haig.
Hello.
Mr. Haig. Why are we here?
Well, I think we obviously needed to live apart long enough for us to have our own ideas when we came together again. And for our accents to diversify a little bit more. Because I feel like, you ever listen to those podcasts where the people are from the same location, so you can't tell who's who when you're listening to it? I think our listeners will not have that issue.
Probably not.
Probably
Do you
not.
feel like my accent's changed since I left Nottingham?
Yeah, loads.
Are you joking or are you being serious? You're half joking.
I'm half joking.
Yeah, fair.
There's a part of me that's like, sometimes I hear it, like there's a twang. I was speaking about, because I have received pronunciation, don't I?
Yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
like, I think I've just picked up or changed mine to fit into my, I don't know, area.
Current location.
Yeah. Anyway, we're tangenting already. Why are we here? Well, we are here to share our thoughts, to hopefully provide our listeners, whoever they may be, with a little bit of, hopefully, a breath of fresh air and some optimism in what seems to be a tumultuous time in the industry. And I feel like
big words.
Big words. I read my dictionary before I came. And I think we needed enough time to make sure that our message was clear and what we wanted to say without being under the umbrella of anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a component, like feeling completely unfiltered. And I think we've had enough time to decide what our thought processes are to now start podcast unfiltered.
Maybe that's what we should call it.
Maybe.
Coaching Unfiltered.
Ooh,
That's not bad, actually.
that's not too bad.
Maybe that's the name.
We'll chew on it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's the name. Fair. Cool. What are your expectations for the podcast? Because
we did talk about
full
this.
disclosure, right? We haven't really talked about this that much because we wanted it to be an honest account. So I'll go in a minute, but we talked about it very, very briefly on the train, and then we went, actually, no, don't tell me because I'll ask you on the podcast, and then we'll get that out there. So, what are your expectations of the podcast, or what are your hopes and your desires for the podcast?
My hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams.
My hopes and dreams for our unfiltered podcast is to try and be as humanly authentic as possible. I think that's a huge part. Like, I hope that whoever listens to us speak will know that the way we speak here is the way we speak when we're teaching, which is the way we speak when we're speaking to people, like at the gym today for Luke's opening. And I think also a component of not pushing a specific agenda, sharing our thoughts and values. Obviously, I think we still have fairly strong opinions. They're just rooted in ethics, integrity, etc. And that's what I want to come across as much as possible. And then to just have a little bit of fun, try and get as many pop culture references in there as we can.
Yeah, that's what we should start stacking. Yeah.
The issue is we can't GIF on a podcast.
No, can you add it post?
We'll figure it out.
Nice.
Yeah. What are your intentions?
My intentions are, I like podcasts. We listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know if we listen to that many that are similar though.
No,
used to.
Have you done your Spotify Wrapped?
Yes.
Who was your top podcast? Do you not want to say?
No, I can say it. I don't mind. My top podcast was Parenting Hell.
Really?
Yep.
I don't even know what that is.
Parenting Hell, Rob Beckett and Josh Widdicombe.
Nice.
I was going to do a shout out, but like they're going to listen to this. Shout out, boys. We should shout out to Luke quickly, since we've just come from there. Body Project Gym in New Ash Green.
Yeah.
Luke Underdown's new facility. Congratulations, Luke. Amazing. We just come from there today. Absolutely spot on. It's amazing to see him. We met Luke a number of years ago now. It's amazing to see him open his facility. I know it's something he's wanted to do for a long time. So if you are in the Kent area, anywhere near that, you know where New Ash Green is, go and check Luke's place out, the Body Project Gym. Highly, highly recommended. They know what they're doing and they'll look after you. So go and do that. Parenting Hell was mine. I was really high up as well. Like, I listened to a lot of it.
0.5%.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
And
You
I don't
like
have
those
children.
Guys.
Yeah. But what was yours?
Built for Coaches.
Shout out, Mark and Jen.
So it's all going to receive pronunciation. I don't know why I'm not speaking Scottish right now.
I have no idea how we're not speaking Scottish at this point. I was listening to Ross's yesterday, and it was Ross and Mark.
Yeah.
And the fun thing to do on that podcast, just listen to how many times people say I.
Oh,
I.
Or listen to it in like 1.5 speed.
Yeah. Or you have to speed it up for Ross, speed it down for Mark. But I love listening to podcasts. I've always loved listening to podcasts. I've always really enjoyed listening to the radio. That was something that was like big in my household when I was growing up. So, and then that transitioned into podcasts. So I don't listen to lots and lots and lots of fitness podcasts really. I used to listen to a few more, and I used to listen to a lot of mindset ones, which I still would like if they're good ones. But Parenting Hell I really like, ironically, because I don't have children, so I find that quite funny that it was my number one. There's a comedian, an Australian one that was a radio show that I used to listen to that isn't a show anymore, it's a podcast instead now that I still listen to. And then there's like an entertainment one that I listen to. But it's usually revolving around something to do with comedy or something like that. And I think the reason I've always loved the radio is that it always, to me, was an amazing thing of making you feel like you were in that group. So there used to be a podcast called My Dad Wrote a Porno.
Yeah.
Which was three friends reading one of their dad's erotic novels that he wrote, and it went fucking gangbusters.
Yeah.
Like
they did like a countrywide tour.
Yeah, they did worldwide. They went,
really?
yeah. They went to Oz and like all around the world. It was ridiculous. And obviously that stopped now. I think it did like 10 seasons, and that stopped now. But I remember being on public transport and listening to that, and like having to like cover my mouth because I was laughing so hard. And one of the things that I really liked about, those podcasts is they were a real comfort, a real comfort to me. Like going all the way back to like Gervais and Merchant and Pilkington's early, because they were like the real pioneers before everybody had a podcast. Before you could just turn up to a studio and record one like we are now. They were like the pioneers of podcasting before it was a visual format. And it was a real comfort. And that's what I really liked. And radio has this ability to make you feel like you're in the room with people. And that's a real comfort. And I think music has that comfort as well. So although we're going to talk about fitness stuff sometimes, because that's what we do for a living, we'll also talk about pop culture references. We'll also talk about values and, Stranger Things, because that's very current right now. And all that stuff. But one of my goals of this is for coaches, because that will be primarily our audience, is for coaches to listen to this and feel like they're not completely isolated and on their own, right? So we've been very fortunate. I was going to say lucky then, but you've got to be ready for your luck, right? We've worked in places where we've had a very good surrounding. So there was me and you and Dwayne and Joe and Lizzie and Reese and Craddy and all the other people that I can't now remember, sorry. People don't have that. Right, coaches don't have that. It's quite a lonely industry sometimes. Whether you're working in a facility that is, you're surrounded by people that don't give a shit, or you're working online, which, we both have experience of. You more than me, but
shout out to my all my online coach brethren.
There you go, and sisterin.
Yeah, and sisterin. I'll see you all in Dubai.
That sweet tax break. But that can be a really lonely place. And then, of course, there's the whole thing of like the facade that you've got to keep up, right? So oh, I feel this way, but now I'm going to go on Instagram and I've got to say that.
Great day. Loads of productive work done. Amazing client calls.
Great work from my team. Just a picture of a spreadsheet that you got to black the name out of because
it actually says template.
Yeah, this is actually mine. I've got no clients. I've got to put this thing across. So yeah, that's one of my main goals of this, and we haven't talked about this. This is the first time Jack's hearing this, right? That's one of my main goals, is for people to feel, because we'll talk about information, but you definitely always say Instagram is not a reliable education source, right?
Yeah.
Nobody goes on Instagram to get education. Well, they do, but it's the wrong place to go. Podcasts are useful, definitely. There's lots of podcasts out there that are really useful for learning more in-depth stuff. This is not first and foremost purely an educational podcast, because, well, it's just not.
Yeah, well, we've got better platforms to do that.
Exactly. We literally run a business that delivers education.
Yeah, and we know that whilst auditory learning can be effective for certain people.
Good catch.
Thank you. There is going to be a component where if it don't work for you, it don't work for you. And that's why we deliver education the way we do. Like, we try and deliver it in multiple formats so that it hits the auditory learners, the kinesthetic learners, hence our live days, the visual learners, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this isn't the place for that. Hopefully they'll pick up bits, because I think even going back like 5 years or whatever, when podcasts weren't as popular, but they were easier, they were more accessible, all of a sudden. And that's something we're going to talk about in a later episode, is that accessibility, both to receiving it and creating it. But one of the podcasts was just somebody answering questions that people had sent them. So there's no, like, even that, there's, and if there's stuff that you want us to talk about, or you want us to answer, drop us a DM, send us an email. What's our email?
info@thecoachinginitiative.net.
info@thecoachinginitiative.net. Good luck spelling initiative. I don't know why we called a company a word that I really struggle. INITI. But yeah, that was the podcast. It was literally like, here's some questions, and here's my thoughts on it, right? And of course, like, there was less podcasts around then, so less saturation and all that kind of stuff. But all it would do really is bring about more questions, because there's only so much context that you can give, right? The reason that Instagram's a silly place to get education is because it's not a place that supports I was going to say contextual learning. It's not a place that supports context.
Yeah.
Because people will switch off.
Yeah. How do I answer this highly nuanced question in 90 seconds or less?
Right. Exactly.
But ideally 60, because algorithm and.
But
algorithm.
Oh, my algorithm. But no one, and you scroll past it.
Yeah.
Right? You scroll past it. It doesn't fit. All right? No one's delivering lectures through Instagram.
Yeah.
It's not happening. So that's where your longer form content, YouTube, this, and then your actual, because I think as we built and designed the coaching initiative, we did it in a way that, so one of the things that we did this time round that we haven't done in previous iterations of education platforms that we've been in, is we made it obligatory.
Yeah, compulsory.
Sorry, thank you. Compulsory to arrive at the live calls, right? Just like if you were doing a class, right? If you sign up to a night class, or you sign up to a school event of some sort, and it's an in-person event, you have to show up to the class. You can't just like catch up. And I appreciate that, time zones and all that, blah, blah, blah. But we made that distinction early on, and it's something that I'm really happy we did, because then it makes people turn up.
Yeah. And there's nothing more stressful than either getting behind on your learning, B, pretending you're on time with your learning. And actually, what we're trying to emulate with this course is the fact that the content is just one piece of a larger puzzle, right? I think a lot of coaches, I guess this bleeds into a topic for another future webinar, but which is the education stuff. I think a lot of coaches sign up to a course thinking that the content is the only important part. And it's like, well, it is, but hiding behind your computer screen and never attending a group call where your camera is on,
Yeah.
is that perhaps a limiting factor as to why your business isn't growing or you're not getting results with clients? Like, is the fact that you're not going out of your way to turn up to a live event where you're not going to be put on blast, but there's going to be a discomfort of being there, present, and being asked a question and going, I don't know. That attribute, that characteristic of being able to put yourself in that position that we try and actively do where we can, is that the limitation as to why your business isn't growing? You know, so I think that's one of the reasons that we made that mandatory attendance.
Something you said to me a little while ago, which there's a few things you've said in the last year that I've taken and just ran with.
Love it.
But I think that's a good thing, because if you can see it, it's like that thing we were talking about on the way here that Anastasia said to me about convenience killing community, right? And then you just see it everywhere. But one of the things you said about was denial, right? Not just a river in Egypt.
Nice.
That's what you come back for, right? But denial not necessarily being somebody refusing that something is happening, but looking to appease the situation in a way that actually could never appease it, right? So do you think that links in with it? So a coach, because we're talking mainly to coaches, but I always think with this stuff you can apply it to most areas of life, right?
Of course.
So a coach or a person, I've tried everything, right, in order to make this change. I've done this course, right? I've attended this thing, or I signed up to this thing, or whatever. But then how did you actually interact in that course, right? Because I went on a course once that was not cheap, and it was very good, and the guy next to me was just not really there. And as I looked at him, he was on Instagram, and I was like, your Instagram must be amazing for you to not be here right now, and you must have loads of cash, because this is costing you a fortune to be here, and you're just not. And I've never heard of the guy since. So, but he would go and be like, yeah, I did this course and I did that course and blah, blah, blah. But how you actually engaged in that, you know, so are you doing it? The thing that we always hear from clients, this is how it'll go, everybody. Jack will speak straight and I'll just go around the fucking houses, because that's how my brain works, apparently. The thing you always hear from clients, I've tried everything. Yeah. They've never tried everything.
Yeah.
Right? They've rarely tried the thing. They've probably done a little bit of a few things at like a whatever effort level, but they've never actually committed, because there's the fear of change.
Yeah. Fear of change, fear of uncertainty, fear of success, fear of failure.
Like, all that stuff.
All that stuff. 4 Horsemen of Fear, bro. 4 Horsemen of Fear.
Now that would be a good t-shirt.
Shout out Corey Wilkes. I learned that from a psychologist. He ran like a free webinar.
Is that actually a thing? I thought you just come up with it.
No. I can't take that. I can't take credit for that. I heard that first from I think he's a clinical psychologist. That of all things, I was doing a YouTube course because I don't know if you know, but I'm a vlogger now. So, vlogger, podcaster.
What's your YouTube channel? Give that a plug.
I don't even know.
Just type Jack Hagen on.
Yeah, you'll find it. Jack Hagen Coaching.
Best bicep exercises, and his short will come up.
It was popular.
Yeah, well, that's all.
It just goes to show, like, I have some videos on there that I think are really cool. And that was the one that went. Yeah. That was the one that grew. But I was on a YouTube course, and he was talking about like why people get in their own way and stuff like that. And he termed it as like the 4 Horsemen of Fear. So it's like fear of success, fear of judgment, or like ridicule, fear of success, ridicule, failure, and uncertainty. And I could really resonate with it, because I was like, I can see at times where all of those have come in. So like fear of success sounds so ambiguous. It's like, how could anyone be scared of being successful? But that would be like the client that starts resistance training and then says, oh, I don't want to get too big. It's like, oh, right, so you're scared that this is going to go too well for you and you're going to get jacked, right? It's like fear of success. Or like a coach not building their business because I'm scared that I'll get to a point where I can't handle those numbers. It's like, well, you're in complete control of that. You can eventually just turn around and say, no, like, what is the issue? But it's a real thing, right? So yeah, I think that's that fear is innate in all of us. You know, I'm not going to sit here on my high horse and say like I'd never scared of anything or never had fear.
You did ask for a slightly higher chair than me, though.
Yeah, well,
is that why?
Yeah, just got
because you're already taller, so I don't know why you need. I don't know why you needed the bigger chair.
Well, this is the thing where we sit on the chair and we look the same height, and then we stand up.
Yeah, and then I'm significantly taller.
When you stood on here.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd reach it then. Yeah, fair.
But I like what you said. Like, this isn't a coaching thing. This is an everybody thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is so important because we speak usually in the terms of coaches, and coaches get talked to in the term of coaches, which sometimes makes them feel like it's a them problem, or like you're the only one that deals with this, or it's a you problem. It's an everybody it's a human problem.
Yeah, it's the human. I would totally agree with that. So the first ever podcast I did was, I think, when we were living in Athol. God,
was that the old client or the lad that you used to know?
I didn't know him. No, it was Anastasia did. Look, Anastasia getting 2 shout-outs on the same podcast.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I think we were in Athol.
Yeah.
Shout out Athol.
Athol House, OG.
Oh, what a place. I just know that Laura's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And true story, we actually recorded 2 podcast episodes in that flat.
We did.
And we never published them.
And we never will publish them.
No, because...
Didn't I just come back from London? That not from living here, from... I think I'd just come in from London when we recorded them.
Oh, maybe.
And
I mean, we just literally put...
It was a Sunday night.
We just did... I think we did Zoom on a laptop.
Yeah.
And we just hit record.
Yeah.
And then I think we just decided at the time we'd either what we said wasn't worth saying or couldn't be unfiltered at the time.
Nice. I like unfiltered.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Mm.
Still chewing.
Okay, fair. But that's a nice thing, right? Because there's some people, not many, but there's some people who have asked, would we do a podcast? And I think it's like, we're going to try and make this as honest as possible, right? And as open as possible. Because my hope is that eventually we get to a point where we forget that there's a microphone here and there's a camera there and this is being recorded and we're going to put it out into the world. And we're not going to reveal our deepest, darkest, but I would like it to be a very honest, open thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing that lands with people. And I think that that's the advantage of a podcast over something like a radio station. Because I was listening to a podcast the other day and they said that they were in radio and they said the difference is I don't have to filter what I say, because if you're representing a company like the BBC, for example, and you're on the radio, you can't say certain things or you shouldn't allude to certain things. If you're on your podcast, you say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that our first swear word?
So our first F-bomb. My mum will message me and go, I don't think you need to swear in. Guarantee
She'll
you.
message me the same thing.
Yeah, she'll message everybody that. I don't think he needs to swear in. Don't listen to it. We'll have to put an E on it now. Explicit. But so some people have asked, like, would you do a podcast? Would you be interested in a podcast? And I think it's fair to say you've been pushing for the podcast more than I have.
Don't know what you're on about.
Not in a bad way. I think you've been more proactive, or I don't know what the other word would be, in us doing this.
Keen
in us doing this. And I'd definitely been more resistant. And I was so okay with my resistance because I just knew it wasn't what I wanted to do yet.
And do you know what? I'm really glad you did, because I feel like if we started it too early, there would have been components that would have been quite interesting, like seeing us in the moment in transitional periods.
Yeah.
So like when you moved to London or when you worked at Integra, things like that. But at the same time, I feel like we're both just way more centered and mature now and less hectic and chaotic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We'll talk about that on another one. Because I think it's in different areas. In some areas of my life, I'm very centered, right? And I think that's a fair thing. Because I remember somebody said to me once, you seem like a really real free spirit. And I felt that was such a compliment. Because I was like, yeah, I do feel like a free spirit. And at that point in my life, I really did. And there are certain parts of my life that I feel very much like a free spirit. And there's other parts where I feel more chaotic because I'm learning about them or I'm figuring out what's happening. But I think that's so fine. You know, I think people would always say to you, like when we work together and stuff, people always say, Jack seems really chilled.
Yeah.
Like, Jack seems really calm. I'm like, yeah, Jack is calm.
Basically horizontal.
Basically horizontal. Look, you can walk right over him. He's planking all the time. His abs, so strong. But there would be parts of your life where you wouldn't be calm, which is so fine. I think the danger of people saying to you all the time, you're calm,
is that then I have to be calm,
right?
Or give the perception that I am calm,
right? Yeah. Because if you're not calm, so well, that doesn't seem like Jack. It's like, well, no, it just doesn't seem like the Jack that you see.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I would describe myself as quite a calm person for the most part.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it earlier. Actually, I completely flipped my lid earlier this year. Like, and I haven't done that in a lot of years. And it'd be probably the first and only time that Ash has seen me really angry. Like, she's seen me get annoyed in the car when I thought I got a speeding ticket again, or like get snappy, if I'm tired or hungry. Terrible combination, or anything like that. But it would, like, that's not me as I walk around. But it doesn't mean that I'm not able to be that person, because I think the danger is if you invalidate that. When that happens, you feel like you've done something wrong. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's just like happiness. That's also an emotion. You're allowed to feel that. You're allowed to do that and be in that and everything like that. But sometimes in stuff in life, where whatever it might be, like milestones and stuff, or big events, I can build them up in my head, like doing a podcast, and make it think like, oh, well, I've got to do this forever then. If I commit, I've got to do it forever. Which is just not the case. Yeah. But I think also I was just a bit scared. I think I was just a little bit scared of one of those 4 horses, right? Maybe a couple of them.
Yeah.
Of, oh, maybe what if no one listens to it, right? Or what if we can't come up with any concepts, or we can't come up with a name? Yeah. What if those things happen? But then the reality is that, well, if no one listens to it, no one listens to it. It really doesn't matter.
So this is really interesting, right? Because I know we kind of said, like, there's certain components of this podcast we've not talked about until we get there. But this isn't something you've ever told me.
No, well, I thought I'd save it.
Yeah. So, like, there's a component here of, like, it's interesting that you should go through that process without feeling like you can articulate it. Like, there's a component of, I don't know, like, you either shouldn't feel that way, or you don't want to talk about feeling that way. Because I know that if we'd have talked about it, there would have been a processing that happened, right? Being able to expel what you're feeling and process it and redefine what failure looks like. Because you're right, like, listener-wise, what is failure? Is it sub 50 listeners? Is it sub 100? Is it sub 200? Or is it sub 5? Like, it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting that you kind of held
more than 5.
Held that to yourself.
I hope we get more than 5 on the first one.
Oh, well, we've got Sam, Molly, Mum, Laura.
Well, we're there.
And each other. Yeah. We can listen to
each. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do you listen to your own podcast back?
I do, actually.
I do.
And I know because of release times on these that I'll definitely listen to it back, because at least probably a month will have passed by release.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah. But yeah, I think sometimes with that kind of stuff, I'll try and process it internally, which I don't think is a bad thing for people to do. But I also think that there's a limit to how much of it you can process internally. And then that whole, like, gut feeling thing, when we talked about it in the past, or you'd said, like, oh, I think we should do this podcast. Do you know the thing that did annoy me about it, genuinely? And I think it was just an avoidant thing. The thing that did annoy me about it is that I didn't just say to you, I'm just not ready to do that right now.
Yeah.
I just either ignored it or moved it to a subject.
Yeah.
Right? And I should have just said to you, I'm just not ready to do that right now, mate.
Yeah.
Because you'd have just gone, all right.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I've been coaching long enough to know that
that's what I'm actually saying.
Yeah,
of course.
If you're not in action stage, you're not in action stage, it's fine.
But that's it, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you move some... Have you been coaching me this whole time? Oh, my God. But how do you move somebody? Like, how do I move
That's how Laura feels.
Yeah. Yeah, can you not coach me through? How do I move myself into action stage? And I think sometimes it is just sitting with it. Like, I suppose I've always been that kind of person where I'll or sometimes just let something sit in the back of my head, and it doesn't take up any space really, but I just kind of mull through it, and then like a series of things happened, and I hear a series of things, and stuff in your life changes where you get a confirmation of something you've thought about, or whatever it might be. It might sound like I'm speaking cryptically now, but I promise I'm not. But those things happen, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, genuinely, what's the worst that will happen?
Yeah.
And if I ever did want to get to a radio show, I'd probably need to do a podcast first.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the epiphany you came to recently?
I think that we should talk about this in the next episode.
Okay.
Do you think?
Sure.
Do you want to, or do you want to do it now?
No, let's leave it for leave them in suspense. What time are we on?
We're on 30.
Okay. Yeah, we promised ourselves that we would pace these.
Yeah.
30 minutes ago.
30 minutes. Well, Jack said 45, but I think that's too long.
Yeah. Well, we did say the first one could be longer.
Well, we did.
All right, go into that and we'll leave it there.
Okay. What was I saying? What was the epiphany?
Yeah.
There was a couple of things that happened. We started the business.
Yep.
So we started in May.
We got laid off in May, and then between May and June we set up.
Oh, okay. I think did we register it at the end of May? Something like that.
Yes.
Something like that. We started the business, and we'd seen that be successful, especially for a starting business, which was great, and obviously just off our own input.
1000%. We launched a new business this year that turned profit basically immediately, and in one of our future episodes we'll explain how we managed to do that.
Nice.
Yeah. Keep them coming back for the business stuff, mate. You know, tickle the balls.
Never don't neglect the shaft. So that had happened.
Yeah.
And then we talk a lot about the bubble that we exist in. So because we speak to each other and we speak to a lot of great coaches, and we've constantly been around. Our networking has been around other educated coaches or other coaches that are always seeking other education. So we just came from Luke's gym and knew a lot of those guys either from courses that we've done or courses that we've run, which was awesome. And it was so cool. So we think that is the industry, right? Whereas reality is that's a very small part of the industry. So if you're listening to this, you're probably closer to that smaller part of the industry because you're looking for the thing that you know exists, if you know what I mean, right? Because a lot of the industry is just made up stuff or based on tradition, and nothing's ever thought about critically. It's just copied and pasted, right?
Yeah.
So we live in this bubble, and I think seeing outside of that bubble made me go, oh, okay, actually, I've been in this for a long time. I know I'm a good coach, but I've been doing this a long time, and maybe things that I say would be valid for people. Maybe people would take something from it and it would be useful. And it's interesting because I've done other podcasts, right? But I think it's the idea of doing it on a more consistent basis. And then it was probably something that my sister said to me when she was talking about going on a course, and she knew it was going to be really tiring.
Is this Annie's third shout out?
Yeah, I just didn't want to say it again because she's had like two, but oh well.
If nobody knows this, by the way, Anthony has many siblings, multiple siblings, and they're all their names start with A, which is genuinely phenomenal, and his parents.
And my parents.
Which is awesome.
But my name is spelled like pneumonia. It's got a silent P at the front, so I just...
Anthony.
Yeah, we're all A's, which is useful for Christmas cards. But yes, she said to me, my other sisters are going to be annoyed that I've not given them any shout-outs, but if you guys drop me some wisdom, I'll shout you out.
Nice.
She said that we were talking about this course, and then I think we kind of said about it together, but basically the next 3 months of your life are going to happen whether you want them to or not. Right? And then there was something the other day. We'd already committed to doing the podcast, so it couldn't have been this, but there was something the other day, and these things hit you sometimes, where someone just went, I'm going to die sometime. Like someday, I'm going to die. We're all going to... What's that thing we all have in common? Death and taxes, right? That's going to happen. And imagine, when I'm 50, I'm not going to care whether I did a podcast at... How old am I? 34. 35 soon.
True.
35 when this comes out, probably, right? I'm not going to care if I did it or not.
Yeah.
So we may as well just do it.
Yeah.
Because what else am I going to do with this time?
Mate, I love that. I think the whole existentialism thing, where it's like you ask a question or you think a thought process that is so existential that it diminishes everything else.
Totally.
I fucking love those reels and it's stupid influencer bullshit.
Yeah.
But I love those reels where it's like, yeah, don't record yourself in the gym, and then it zooms out and it's just the earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're so small. Like,
yeah,
it's
like
not a big
literally,
fucking
who
deal.
cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Do you know how many pieces of crap get uploaded to Instagram every single day?
Yeah.
Right? Or how many terrible podcasts there are out there?
Yeah.
Like, no one cares.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're not going to get cancelled. So, who cares?
We're gonna stay away from all the phraseology that would get us cancelled.
Yeah, just stay very much in the middle of that lane, you know. But yeah, and we'll finish it on this because I realise on the time we're on. But this is like a year and a bit ago, because I think that existentialism can be really useful sometimes, just to bring you back. Because we were talking earlier with people about how they, or maybe, it was yesterday when we were on the webinar. People get an idea and they don't talk about it, or they don't challenge that idea, and it's a thinking distortion, and then it builds into this fantasy where they're suffering in their head for something that hasn't happened. Do you know? And it's like, anyway, people do that with their training. They put off their training because they think it's going to be worse than it is, right?
Yeah.
On a real small level, I've got to go and train my third session. I'm tired. I'll have another coffee. I'll have a little pre-workout food. You know, I'll do this, and I'll go and do it. If you just go and start, the sooner you start, the sooner it's done.
Yeah.
Right. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it was a Friday. I know it was a Friday, and I'd been thinking about climbing, going bouldering for a while. I hadn't been in London long, and there was a place literally on the way home. It couldn't have been better placed. And I was like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And I looked up this like foundation intro thing, and I was like, oh, should I book it? Shouldn't I? And then what happened was I opened Instagram or Facebook, and unfortunately, someone who I know, their husband had died at a very young age. Nothing. There was no warning, right? And gone like that. And that moment made me go, wow, it could just all go. You know, not to make this really depressing, but hopefully this is more open, enlightening than anything else, right? And it just hit me of like, this could all go tomorrow. You know, what a horrible thing to happen to that person. You know, both the person who happened to and the family they left behind, like awful. And there's me thinking, oh, I don't know if I want to do this thing, or I'm a bit scared to go and walk into this thing where everyone's going to be really friendly. And so I just went and did it, and it was brilliant. And, you know, it was such a lovely thing that happened. And I also made a point of messaging everybody at that point and just saying, hey, hope you're good, and I love you, and blah, blah, blah.
Fucking message me.
I did message you.
Did you?
No.
Yeah.
My family. But it was a thing of like, oh, wow. You know, and that's happened to me a few times in life where people have lost people, and it's like, wow, that, you know, it could all go.
Yeah.
And that's really terrifying. And imagine if you just didn't. I don't think you can live every day like it was your last, because that's impossible.
Yeah.
You can't do that without it knowing that it was your last.
Yeah.
But I also think, wow, we don't have to worry about some stuff that we don't need to worry about.
Yeah. And yeah, if those thought opportunities present themselves at just the right moment, it can really trigger action.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like taking that first step.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
So there you go. I think that's a good place to finish it.
First step.
First step.
First step. Here we are.
Done.
Jolly good.
Sweet. So thank you for listening to episode 1, brought to you by the Coaching Initiative, as yet unnamed, but hopefully by the time we release it, we'll have a name.
Yeah.
Maybe something to do with Unfiltered, we don't know.
Yeah.
But if you want to reach out to us, what's your Instagram, Jack?
Jack A Coaching.
Jack A Coaching on Instagram. Anthony Barnes Coaching on Instagram. The Coaching Initiative on Instagram. Go and follow those guys. They're bloody good.
Bloody good at what
Bloody
they do.
good.
Tell you what.
If you want us to talk about anything, answer anything, drop us a DM, drop individual DMs, or drop us a DM to the Coaching Initiative, or send us an email, info@thecoachinginitiative.net. Thank you very much for listening to our maiden voyage, and we will look forward to catching you on the next one. Peace.